Hello again and welcome to the 140k Imperial Guard Tactics video. Now before we get into today's video, I would like to say a massive thank you to Sam Williams for sending in some more awesome pictures of his Imperial Guard infantry army. Sam has sent in a few different series of pictures with his Imperial Guard facing down the Vile Tower, and I have to say every single time it is just amazingly inspiring and breathtaking how many infantry that he feels on the battlefield. It makes me want to get more infantry, and I already have hundreds and hundreds of them, but it makes me want to get more. And also, as a Imperial Guard player whose main enemy for most editions has been the dreaded Tau Xeno scum, I can definitely relate to these pictures. So thank you for sending these pictures. They look absolutely awesome. If anyone else has got any cool pictures that they want me to use in my videos, please post them on my Facebook page. There will be a link down in the description below. Now these pictures are also very fitting for the topic of today's video, which is Hordes are back on the menu, boys, and it's not just me who is saying it. So no matter what Games Workshop do, no matter what the edition is, no matter what rules they bring in, Hordes are still super effective. And 9th edition is what probably on the surface looks like one of the least Horde friendly editions, but it is actually one of the most Horde friendly editions. And it's not because of the core rules, but it's because of the type of missions that we are playing. Now those sound like very bold statements. I'm sure there'll be a lot of players already bashing on those keyboards saying, but Marines are overpowered and they're not a Horde army. And it's like, Marines are very powerful. They are. But they are not placing well in tournaments. And that's crazy. But let's take a deep dive now into some recent tournament results. We're going to take a look at this as why some Hordes are doing well, and we're going to take a look at why Marines are not doing as well as everyone thinks they should be on the tournament scene. So despite the fact that obviously we have, a global pandemic going on, there are still plenty of 40k events that are happening. And some of them are actually getting quite large. We're seeing things that qualify as grand tournaments rather than just your regular RTT. And so what we're seeing from these tournaments is a couple of things that I don't think anyone expected at the beginning of 9th edition, which is we're not seeing Marines placing very well, and we keep seeing some Horde armies popping up here and there. So it's dispelling these two great myths of Marines will be the top 8 of every event, and also that Hordes are just in the tournament. You got a Horde army, you just chuck it in the bin for 9th edition. So let's take a look at a couple of these events. So the first one I want to take a look at is let's get the article up here, and I am using, for those of you who want to know where I'm getting my information from, I am taking a look at the Goonhammer website. If any of you aren't aware of Goonhammer, they're absolutely fantastic. They put out loads and loads of great articles, a lot of it focusing around the competitive side of things. So I probably read every article that they put out, or at least I skim them, and the ones that I'm most interested in obviously are the tournament results. And so what I'm looking at is the most recent tournament one that they put up, which is from the 23rd of September, which was the Brisbane Grand Tournament. Now, in the top 3 lists, you have Chaos Demons, Imperial Fists, admittedly, and then we also have Tyranids. Now, I want to take a look at that Tyranid list. Okay, I'm just going to take a brief look at it. Basically, guys, it is Gant spam, Termagant spam, Gaunt and Hormagaunts as well. And if you actually look at it, he hasn't got any Hive Tyrants in there. Outside of Old One Eye, he hasn't got any. He's taken Old One Eye as an HQ choice, and it's still not a Hive Tyrant. I think it's cheaper than a Hive Tyrant. He's basically gone for what is the least amount of points I can spend on my HQs, and how can I cram as many infantry in this as possible. Crazy thing is, despite the fact that he has essentially he has almost 150 Gaunts, Termagants, sorry. He doesn't even have a, what they called? the one that spawns them, that I knew the name of before coming to this video, and now it's popped up in my head. He doesn't have the big creature. Terry the Turvigon. There you go. He doesn't even have a Turvigon, which will allow him to spill more people into this list. He's just gone cheap as hell HQs and as many Turvigons as I can fit in. He's gone for some Venom Throats to be able to give them a -1 to hit, which helps the fact that they've only got a 6-up save normally. And he's got a couple of cheeky little objective grabbing things, like he's got a Lictor. He's got an allied G-Soul Occult Patrol with, a Sanctus in it. With a Bio Dagger of all things. What? Mad, right? He's just got a little sprinkling of things. 8 Acolytes of Hand Flame, so we can come in and, clear any screens. Another 10 Acolytes with some Rock Swords. Can't go wrong with that. But the vast majority of his list is taken up in the fact that he has 150 Termagants and 20 Hormagaunts. And how he basically runs this list is, and from people that I've spoken to, that I've got even more down low on the whole tournament scene, basically, how he runs his list is he's just super aggressive with it. And every turn, he just throws loads and loads of just gaunts forward, and the enemy struggles, because they're all fearless, so you have to kill every single one of them. A lot of them are -1 to hit, although admittedly the Venom Throats do tend to die quite quickly. But they just screen for these characters. And so the characters, the ones sitting on objectives, scoring points, doing all the things they need to do. And the gaunts are just there being thrown into the enemy's lines. And the enemy struggles to get out of their own deployment zone. And they really struggle to get any objectives, because there's just 170 obsec bodies. Just 170, all fearless, having a great time. Now, there are obviously a lot of other nuances to this list, but the core message is it's a Horde that got 3rd at a big event in an edition where everyone says Hordes are trash. How does that work? So the next one I want to have a look at is another different GT, and this one is the YHP GT. This is from earlier in the month. This is from September 10th. And the top 3 in that were Custodes, Orcs, and Chaos. Okay. So, why are... Orcs came second. What is the list? Well, it's Ghazghkull and a shitload of boys. Boys, boys, boys. In fact, he has 3 pretty much maxed out units of boys, and he's upgraded every single one of them to be Scar boys, so they are dead, killing in combat. So he's got 120 boys, and then he's got a sprinkling of commandos and other little bits. But when you put it all together, this guy's running close to 150 models, and it's a Horde again. So what the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? So we're seeing Hordes popping up in and doing well in events, and it's not just like, it's popping up in one event and then the Hordes aren't, it was just a fluke. I mean, you can go back through multiple articles, and it's not every event, it's not every GT this happens, but every 3rd GT, what we're seeing is a Horde list doing very well, absolutely smashing it. And it's like, what's going on here? Well, it's pretty simple, guys. Everyone, and then what you also look at, so you're getting sort of a 2-for-1 in this video. It's like, also, why are Marines just not placing as well as they should be? What's going on? Well, why are we seeing things that are like Chaos Demons just keep popping up? Chaos Demons just keep popping up and winning tournaments. And we're seeing Soneshi ones. Obviously, the Nurgle ones are the ones that everyone, it's like, Nurgle Demons are amazing. But everyone looked at Demons at the beginning of 9th and went, these are terrible. They're trash tier. And now everyone's like, holy crap. Beasts of Nurgle. Nurglings. Just even like Death Guard, which I know are not demons, but they're still a codex which is considered trash tier. And these armies are consistently smashing it. Why? If you go back through all these articles and all these GTs and you look at who's in the top ones, there's always a Chaos player somewhere. There's always someone but often in the top 3, often it's not Marines. And it's like, what is going on here? Right, well, basically, guys, there's two things that are going on. Why are Hordes... The fact that Hordes are doing well and Marines aren't doing as well as they should be is not a coincidence. You got to be like Commander Thrawn from Star Wars. I've been listening to the Thrawn audiobook. I spent my Audible credit on that this month, and I have to tell you, I feel, you know, that guy is very smart. Anyway, if you don't know who Thrawn is or anything like that, go and do your research on him. He's an absolutely, you know, amazing Star Wars character. It's great that they kept him around from the expanded universe. Anyway, the fact he sees links in things. That's the whole thing. That's why did I mention him? He sees links in things. And these two things are linked. Why are Marines not placing well when they have every advantage? And why are Hordes still like this problem that Games Workshop can't get rid of? Okay? Two reasons. One, which I think is the most important reason, is everyone... Actually, I think there's three reasons. Okay, there's three reasons. So, the first reason is that Marines are super killy. Marines are probably one of the factions out there that has the highest damage output of, like, any faction. And it just gets crazy. Okay? So, because of this... Everyone is, you know, the Horde players and the players that can, and the armies that can do it are coming to, you know, the conclusion. If we can't outshoot the Marines, if we can't outkill them, we have to outlast them. Which explains why you are seeing armies like Chaos Demons time and time again making it into the top 8 places of tournaments, because everything's got a goddamn invulnerable save, and if you're playing Nurgle, everything's got a goddamn invulnerable save and an Emperor damn feel no pain. So if you can't beat them, outlast them. And you can't beat Space Marines in a straight up shooting fight. You'll lose. Not even Tau can do that anymore. And they out-combat a lot of things as well. They are the best of the best. But the one thing, no matter how good they are, and we've talked about this concept before in 40k. 40k is an interesting mechanic, which is where your opponent can set everything up right and you can just deny it because you have armor saves. Your opponent can hit and they can wound, but it means jack shit if you make your armor or your invulnerable save. Well, guess what? Marines can have the highest damage output they want. It doesn't matter if you have the ability to just deny it. Just, no, I don't care. I'm just going to keep making 4-up invuns, 3-up invuns, and I'm just going to keep making 5-up, 4-up feel no pain. I'm just going to keep doing that. There's nothing you can do. So, number one, people have... That's the first thing. People have learned they can't outkill Marines, and they have stopped trying in a lot of cases, so they are now starting to outlast them. Okay. Number two, linked to the first point, which is... everyone is expecting Marines to turn up to tournaments. And they are turning up in droves. They are still the most represented faction at any event that you go to. Any Warhammer event, anyway. So what do? If you know that the majority of your games, if you play, if it's a 5-game event or a 6-game event, what do you do if you know that the majority of those games, or at least half if it's a 6-game event, are probably going to be against Marines? What do? You build to beat them. So everyone is building their lists to be anti-Marine in one form or another. If you know that the shit hot unit that's meta breaking is Eradicators, what do? You turn up with a bunch of units that Eradicators are total shit against. Hordes. Even better, invulnerable save Hordes. Oh, what's that? Chaos Demons walking in. Now, I know a lot of you saying, well, you know, Beasts of Nurgle. Look, if you're running, like, maxed out units of Beasts of Nurgle, you've got, like, a micro horde of those things at that point, haven't you? But, no, I would even disregard that. If you just talk about regular hordes, if you've got 150 Termagants, or 120 odd boys, and someone turns up with 9 Eradicators, you quite frankly don't give a shit. And if they're like, oh, but they're going to turn up with aggressors as well, with all the flamers. Okay, well guess what you fucking kill first? If you're only going to kill 2 units in the entire Marine player's army, and you spend your entire game doing that, All you do is just, or your entire game plan, all you do is just kill those 2 units of aggressors first. And you're like, oh, great, I'm okay now. Even if you just kill one of them. And then they've got like 2 units of aggressors and 2 units of, and 2 repulsors, then it's like, okay, well, I'll kill those 2, and once they're dead, the whole fucking list, all I need to do is kill half of that stuff. And I will have enough bodies to be okay. And that's the crazy thing. You either kill it or you can lock it down. That's all you need to do. Just kill it or lock it down. So, because that's a disadvantage of an elite army, isn't it? Disadvantage is, if you've got all your eggs in one basket, if someone is able to diddle your basket, then you're in trouble. All it takes is for one of those termagants to make it into combat, and out of that horde of 30 hormagaunts, for just one to make it into combat, and for that, and for them to survive the combat against his aggressors. And guess what? Those aggressors are shut down for a turn, and that is do that every turn of the game, and you of course you will, of course you will. So this leads me on, neatly, masterfully executed link to Hordes. Talking about Hordes termagants. Why are these armies winning? Why are Hordes doing this? Surely the enemy is picking thin their ranks every time against them. Yes, they are. But that's the only points that they're getting. You see, one of my close friends had me in stitches of laughter the other day because I was talking him through my pure infantry tactics and my Horde tactics and everything. We were just having a great chat. And he was like, he has this idea where he's going to, before every game, he's going to have in a bag 2 gift cards, and one that says congratulations, and you get that out and you give it to your opponent. If this is, you're running a huge Horde army, and they go, oh cool, and they open it up and it says congratulations, you have maxed out thin their ranks. And then you get out a second card and it has commiserations or we're sorry on the front. And he goes, oh, what's this? And he opens it up and it says, because they're the only secondaries or any points you're going to get this game. Because that's what Hordes do. You get your Horde and you just dominate primary objective points. And yeah, your opponent gets 15. Your opponent gets 15 secondaries. But that's the only points he can guarantee. If he tries to take objectives which don't allow him killing stuff, and he's like, oh, I've got to hold objectives. Are you going to out-hold the Horde army, who's the player has built their entire game plan around just holding objectives, and any damage they do is just a Brucey bonus? You've not come for that game. You're not ready for that game, son. You turn up wanting to kill stuff. So your primary mission is to kill stuff. But if the only thing you can get from that is 15 points, and you can't play the primary game, and you can't pick secondaries like domination, or not even like line breaker, because you have to get there, and the Horde player's just blocked off his entire deployment zone, and you can't pick raise the banners, and the Horde player just goes to the middle of the board and then doesn't advance a single inch further forward, because if he's at the middle of the board, he's at least controlling half the objectives in the game. No matter what game you're playing, if he is in the middle of the board, he's holding half. And then all he has to do in any of his turns, in his movement phase, is take a small unit of nothing. It could be, in my case, it could be a shattered unit of like 2 guardsmen left over, and just move them onto an objective that you're controlling. Don't even charge it, just move. Comes to the Marine player's turn. Oh look, you don't control that objective because I've got 2 guardsmen on it, and your whole obsec thing was like a few intercepts that you've got holding your rear objective. Because that's what we keep seeing. We keep seeing Marine players turning up with minimum troops and maximum damage output, and the minimum troops, they get killed first, and then the Marine player gets like at most 20 points on primary, at most, and the Horde player is getting 45 every game, and this is why we keep seeing Hordes popping up, and this is why we keep seeing armies. Everyone, and it was true for the beginning of 9th, but then everyone starts learning you can't ever, when that codex first drops, Of course it's broken when it first drops because no one knows how to deal with it. It's why, going off a slight tangent, it's why I was so frustrated with Games Workshop's heavy-handed approach to the Guard Codex, because the Guard Codex dropped and instantly everyone bitched and moaned about it, but they should have left it 6 months and then made the changes, because 6 months later no one was complaining about Guard. In any capacity, no one was complaining about Guard. So this is why everyone was moaning at the beginning of 9th. Yeah, Marines were taking every top slot. Yeah, Custodians were doing fantastically. Yeah, all these armies that everyone said, oh, they'll be unbeatable, they're amazing. It's like, yeah, well, how come you're not seeing Custodians taking top slots? As you're not seeing Custodians take any more top slots than Horde armies. You're seeing, despite the fact that everyone said that Chaos was the unloved child, you are seeing more Chaos armies, be it Chaos Demon or regular Chaos Marines, well, more like Death Guard, and even Thousand Suns. You are seeing them placed in the top 3 and top 4 way more often than you are seeing Marines in these big tournaments. And you're seeing it. Now, at first, obviously, at the beginning of 9th, it was Marines, and they were smashing it, and they were doing really well. But now everyone's adapting to that. Everyone's shifting. And these latest results that we're seeing over the last 2 months, we are seeing less Marines taking the top slot, and more things like Demons, and Hordes, and Orcs, and Tyranids. And it'll only be a matter of time before a Guard player gets that top slot. Fingers crossed, it'll be fucking me. It won't be, because I won't be able to go to any tournaments because we're still in lockdown here in the UK. But hopefully someone will be able to do it with the tactics that are on this channel. So the point is that Hordes are in, and I've been saying this for a long time. The reason I've been saying this is because I've been living it. So I've been playing, plenty of games with people in my, allowed social bubble under the UK lockdown rules, and I've also been able, over the last 3 weeks, been able to go and play games of 40k down at the Warhammer Club, but it's in a very reduced capacity. Not everyone's allowed to go every week, basically. And and I've been running my pure infantry guard, or I've been turning it with my Krieg, which is still 100 blokes, and I've been smashing it. I've only lost 1 game. Between my Guard and my Krieg, I've only lost 1 game with them. Everyone said Guard was shit, and everyone said that Krieg was a waste of time. Why would you collect Krieg? And I disagreed. I lost my first game just of 9th, and it was my very first game, so I was learning the game, and I didn't appreciate how to win it properly. But the last few armies that I played Marines with my Krieg, and I won. And it was Indomitus Marines, and that's a battle report on this channel. Go and check it out. I'll put it at the end of this video. It'll be the link at the end of the video. My last game with my Krieg, I played against Tournament List Tau, and I played against triple broadside with the rail cannons and smart missile systems, double Riptide, and then a ghost keel, stealth teams, and just you had that core of Riptides and broadsides, and then you had a nice flanking unit of a couple of stealth teams and a ghost keel, and then just loads of drones. Beat that with my Krieg on objectives with my Horde. Just beat it. Absolutely mashed it. And my last 3 games with my 4 games with, I'm trying to remember how many I've played now, with my Guard infantry army, I've won all of them. No, last 2 games. I've already played 3 games. So first game lost, but since that loss, I've learnt, and I beat Drukhari on this channel on a battle report. Really good battle report. I never went past the middle part of the board. And the last game I played was against Necrons, using the new Indomitus rules, and it was an anti-Horde list. Let me tell you, 2 big blocks of warriors with lords supporting them, and a big block of Tesla Tomb Blades, and a big block of wraiths, and I just smashed it on primary. Absolutely smashed it. And so that's how, and I'm not the, and so that's my anecdotal evidence that I'm sprinkling, I'm seasoning on top of this tournament evidence that we're seeing. And I think we're going to keep seeing it. And I think an army, like the one in these pictures, like Sam's army, I think we're going to start seeing armies like that, guard armies like that appearing. Right now, any competitive guard player worth their salt is out there furiously painting up infantry as fast as they can. I am. So, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. I feel like I wanked myself off a little bit this video. It wasn't meant to be, so sorry guys if it came across that way. It's only meant, I do feel a little validated, obviously. But let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know how your guard armies have been performing. Are there any guys out there who have taken the plunge and gone super infantry heavy? And have you guys seen your games improving? Have you seen your win rate going up? I'd like to know. Anyone else out there who is not necessarily a guard player but has horde armies, have you been really leaning into that horde, and have you been seeing better results than you expected? Please let me know down in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and of course I'll see you guys next time.